Hi, I'm James and welcome to another video. Today we're going to look at Born to be Kobold, which is published by Sign of the Dragon, and thanks to them for sending me a review copy free of charge. I've got another of their products to look at on Thieves Guilds, but I thought I'll do this one first. Now, it's written by Marco Bertini and Marco Fossati. I apologise for the pronunciation of your names, gents. It's available through the Dungeon Masters Guild at $1.99 in a PDF. That's not exactly going to break the bank, is it? 13 pages long, which is a decent length for what it's covering, because it's intended to supplement the Monster Manual and Volo's guide. So it assumes that you have access to those to give yourself that information. Now there's 13 pages altogether, as we said. Looks very nice. It looks like basically the official version, because they do reuse some of the illustrations. I'll flick a page up so you can actually see what it looks like. It's not particularly drastic doing this because it is actually part of the preview that you've got as well. So there's four main parts to it. Part one are two new sub-races that can be used for PCs. You've got the Draconic, which are sort of very much elite kobolds. They've actually got some dragon blood in them, so they actually get a bit of dragon's heritage. And which isn't drastic. They get a resistance to one type of damage, and they also get a one cantrip that they can use as well. So not exactly breaking the bank. And you can see the tail going across the bottom of the screen there, like Jaws. That's Cubit the cat trying to get in on the act yet again. There's also then the second type of PC, which are the winged kobolds, or the Urds. They don't really break the game. Flying character, yeah, I can live with that. The nice touch is they can only fly if they're not wearing armour, so it balances quite nicely. They're both realistic, playable, they work nicely. You've then got 100 trinkets, specifically for kobolds. You could use them quite well with things like goblins and things for the bulk of them as well. They are very much the classic junk. But if your PCs are anything like the ones I usually game for, what you'll probably find is they'll actually create a quest or something off the back of these. You know, they're quite useful to have from that sense. There's a section on tactics then for kobolds. I'm probably going to do a video on that because I think that would be something that will be quite interesting. But what do you have? You have some new traps. I think there's 8 of them, which are quite nice. They're very simple little traps. They do fit nicely. There is a typo I've spotted on one or two of them. One of them, for example, the oil on the floor suddenly refers to a block falling. It's like, what? There's no block. So there's one or two little typos, but you know, I know how hard it is to spot everything when you proofread, so I can live with that. There's also an absolutely brilliant little victory. What's it? Victory chart. That was how they referred to it. Now, the suggestion you roll in this 1 to 3 times per battle when a kobold actually hits the target. I think it would work nicely every time a kobold gets a critical hit. That would probably be about right. And it is quite funny. Generally it works to the kobold's benefit, so they become emboldened and the kobold makes a speech. All the kobolds gain some temporary hit points. It can be the fact that, oh, I've managed to steal something. So they're little things like that, but some of them are actually quite funny. I particularly like the, oh, I might have angered them. Panic. It's a lovely little touch, and it caught the kobolds really nicely for me. I thought that was quite good. And then you've got the back. You've actually got 5 new monsters, statistics. You've got a poisoner, which is actually referred to in the earlier ones, and rather than just give them a poison, it actually goes into a bit more depth. Yeah, it works for me. There's a shaman. Now that's always a good one to include. I like the fact that races have got things like shaman, so I quite like that. There's a slinger. Yeah, that's a very useful little addition. Slings are probably the ideal kobold weapon, if I'm honest. You've got a servant of the arcane powers. Yeah, I like that one. It does pick up that there's not a lot of kobolds going to get divine magic, so it makes perfect sense that they're going to move more to the arcane side of things. And then you've got a swarm of kobolds. Yeah, I mean that will actually work nicely, even at sort of the higher levels. They tie in quite nicely. So in that 13 pages, which is well illustrated, there's a lot of illustrations, there is a lot packed in. I like kobolds as a monster. They're a brilliant low-level threat. They're great against beginning PCs. But if you know Tucker's Kobolds, and if you don't, I'll put a link in the description to it, just to get you thinking about them. They are a really, really nice little monster. You can do a lot with them. So overall, I would actually go out and bought this quite happily if I'd seen it before. It's really nice. It's a monster type I like, and it's going to be good for your games. So even if you don't use it any other way, and just to get a bit more in depth to them, brilliant. Well worth the money. Hopefully that's been useful, and I'll see you soon for another review.